It was another strong season for the Warren Central Dragons in 2010. The Dragons finished 10-3 and just missed out on the Class 5A semifinals.
In 2 seasons at Warren Central, Mike Rogers is 18-7. But more importantly, the Dragons have become a force once again in South Central Kentucky and hope to make another deep run in the postseason this fall. And joining us on the show is the head coach of the Dragons, Mike Rogers. Coach, thank you for coming by.
All right, guys.
Great to see you.
You've got a new jersey here, and I don't know how well they can see it here on the television, but a nice little pattern of dragons on the sleeve. Was that your idea?
Yeah, well, Coach Campbell take a little credit for that. He's always up on, or thinks he is, on the fashion stuff. The kids like them. Mark Bennett at Russell, a friend of mine, I've known him for a long time in different schools and worked with him and always used Russell products. But it's actually a Colorado State jersey, and then they impregnated our design on there. And I think we're one of the first schools in the country to wear that. So for what they cost, they ought to look good. So I'm glad you guys like them. And you got to be up close to kind of tell what it is. Look polka dot-ish in the distance. But the kids really like them. That's all that's important. And hopefully we'll play well in them.
Well, Coach, how are things going? And obviously, practices have been all over the board. Some teams 7, some teams 7 at night, 8 o'clock at night. How are you guys faring with the extreme heat?
Well, we've been a little bit of both, and then when the teachers start back at school, which some of our staff teaches, obviously, that really mixes things up. So, for example, this week we've gone 6:30 at night and then 8 o'clock in the morning the next day. So it's tough for a little bit, but then you get a long break until the next session. So. But that's just part of it. I know last year, 2 or 3 weeks, we went at 6 o'clock in the morning once school started and only got about 90 minutes to practice. But we did pretty well with it, and I felt it was better than coming back later. So we'll just play it by ear. You always have to with the heat, and the good news about it is everybody's having to deal with it. It's not like we're in Hawaii playing a team from New York State or something. They have better weather. So we'll deal with it and hopefully improve and get better and just play well early in the season and improve for district time.
This is something we talked about a little bit when I was at practice a couple days ago. You lose a lot of key players last year that did so much for you. But you also bring a couple guys back as well. Just talk about what you have coming back, but also filling those gaps of what you lost.
Yeah, it's hard to replace kids and relationships with kids. I mean, you really can't do it. So we only graduated 8, but 6 will play college football, and so that makes it extremely difficult. We return Eric Brown there that you see. He's one of the better players in the area. Austin, that you're going to see here in a minute, comes back. Anchors our offensive line at center. But losing guys like JT and DeMonte and Cortez and on is tough to replace, and we'll just work hard to overcome that, hopefully build some depth, and then count on some young guys. We're going to have some young linebackers on the field. There's no doubt about it, and we're going to have 1 or 2 young defensive backs on the field, and then you start working on your subs, and you're going to have injuries and things that come up, and so we're going to be youthful, but we have been since I've been here, and hopefully we'll take the program to the next step.
I remember, Coach, when you first started, you were literally recruiting.
Yeah, we still are.
Yeah, but it's gotten easier. I mean, you've developed a program over the last 2 seasons that, the bar has been raised very high at Warren Central. You got the numbers. Kind of talk about that as far as the number of guys that you have now versus maybe when you first started.
When we first started, I think we had like 14 or 16 kids at a practice. It was pretty bleak, and we've built that up a little bit, and it seems like we get into our off-season conditioning in the winter, and we get quite a few kids, and they dwindle down. And one of the things about our school is we're the smallest 5A school, and then we have such a diverse population in our school that some of our kids come from countries that don't know what football is. And Warren Central's gotten some good football players out of that deal, but I don't think as many as you would have, at another school, a rural school or whatever. So that has some obstacles to overcome. But We aren't short on talent. We've had some very great football players at Warren Central. We did last year. We will this year. And the key is just working through the season. And with our depth, we're going to have to stay healthy just like we have for 2 years. We've been extremely lucky there. Mike Carby and Dr. Fee have done a great job with some of the injuries that we have had, and we've gotten kids back faster than maybe we should have. And that's a contribute to the kids, too, working hard in therapy.
If we can take a look at your schedule now, we have a graphic of that. A new bowl game for you guys to start the year, Trousdale County. Doug and I talked several weeks ago about them. I looked them up, and they are tough. And then you've got Franklin Simpson the next week, Fort Campbell, who won 3 straight titles in the last 4 years. At Meade County, district play starts at Barron. Then in the second half, obviously you've got the big game on October 14th at Bowling Green, and then another bowl game at the end of the year. I mean, you've made it tough on yourselves for sure.
Yeah, well, we lost some games that we really would have liked to kept, closer to home and things, but that's going to happen to you, so we've got to travel a little bit, and we've got to travel to Louisville Ballard. Coach Jackson does a great job up there. They've got a good program. I hate going to Meade County. I like Coach Mofield, but we used to battle them at Nelson County, and the graveyard up there, the pit, as I call it, it's a tough place to play, and one that we always said at Nelson County we were down 14-0 before we started the game when we got off the bus. So it'll be the same way for us, but it'll be exciting for the kids. The bowl game, we really appreciate Russell and Fruit of the Loom. That's going to be exciting. You won't find 2 better opponents than Trousdale and Mayfield, who's going to play Greenwood, and they'll bring some exciting fans, and we should have a great crowd.
Coach, we appreciate the time. Thank you very much. We wish you the best of luck this year.
All right, thank you guys and everything that you do for high school football.
Thank you. Our pleasure. Time for a quick break. Stick around. You're watching the Sports Connection on WBKO.